What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away. We feel betrayed.
What's up, Internet? I'm Aries Van Dam. Happy Friday. Feminism Friday, like I promised. No Zionism today, just feminism, except I am going to talk a little bit about the law where they're trying to merge our militaries together. Just to shit on that for a bit. But other than that, Zionism free. So I want to thank my subscribers. We're halfway there. I have 500 now, so I'm eligible for memberships and super chats. If y'all want to do that, go ahead and do that. I will be doing a weekend show eventually for the members where we get together and just decide what we're going to watch for the week. Y'all can help me pick out the content. So that's what I'm going to do for the members whenever I get that up and running. I still got to do some tax stuff to get that going, but I do have to do some debate prep for Sunday too. Look for the debate next week. I'm debating Matt Van of the Matt Van Show Sunday night. We'll be editing it and he's got to do a bunch of stuff and then we're going to put it up sometime next week. So look for that. I'm going to have a friendly debate with him. And, I found this. Because my haters are saying that I'm a faker, that I'm fake, that I'm pretending to be crazy on the internet. So I found this. That's 1994. I've been crazy since before that. This is just me. That's how I roll. So let's get into the first one. This debate, let me talk to you a little bit about this debate and turn this down. So I watched this all the way through, but I was on a really strong gummy. So I just remember thinking, this is crazy that this is being streamed right now. It was wild. It's not going to be your typical debate, but I do have a debate after that. Michael Knowles is going to debate a panel of feminists. So that should be fun because he could barely debate one feminist. So let's see how that works out. But this was wild. So let's get into the first debate, I guess you'll call it. We're not going to do the whole thing because the whole stream is 3 hours long, but you can watch. If you watch from the beginning, you see how Richard Spencer did not even come to debate. He came to troll. He came to be an asshole and just talk shit about Andrew's family. That's all he wanted to do. So let's get into it and see what this asshole tried to do. Here we go. Oh, wait, let me put it on the screen.
Today we have Andrew Wilson and Richard Spencer debating the manosphere. We have two topics. The manosphere is number one. Richard Spencer will have his opening statement, which will be about 5 minutes, and then we'll give it to Andrew, and then we'll go back and forth.
The guy that's moderating, that's Justin Reloaded. Go subscribe to Justin Reloaded. He does a really good job on this show. He impressed me. Technically, he won the debate, and he's the moderator. So that just tells you how wacky this debate got. But go subscribe to Justin Reloaded. He did a good job. I disagree with him on a couple of things, but we'll get into that.
With Crossfire, I just want to say thank you. I love talking to you guys. It's phenomenal watching you. So pumped about this debate. Richard, whenever you're ready.
Glad you're here, Stevie.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. And thank you, Josiah, for inviting me and setting this up. So I believe the topic or my affirmation is that the manosphere is a socialist movement for low status losers in order to get pussy. Is that what it is, more or less? You can read that.
Sure. Manosphere / men's rights movements are socialist, egalitarian crusades made up of men that need to be eliminated from the gene pool.
Well, that's even harsher than I remembered, but wow. And then the next one is that so-called traditionalists want to return to an era that never existed. They actually don't want to return to the past. They want to return to a magical utopia, basically.
Yep.
Okay. I think I can handle all of these, and I'll try.
So he's there to debate his worldview, and all he has is assertions. He brought no evidence that anything they just said he was saying on Twitter. He brings no evidence to back any of that up. and he knows Andrew's going to destroy him. So watch what happens.
Try to keep it at 5. But if I go into 10, maybe you'll give me that time, and I'll certainly give that time to Andrew if he needs that long to respond as well. I think it's best just.
Well, I think we have the structure down. It's like 5-5, and then what is it?
Yeah, but I'm
4-minute rebuttals. I think
these two things. So let's just have a discussion. I mean, we're not playing tennis here, so.
Note how many times he says we're not playing tennis too. That's gonna be a reoccurring statement he makes over and over and over again.
I'd like to keep it to the format. Otherwise,
and I'm the reason why this debate is happening. So I'm going to speak for around 10 minutes.
Then you can fuck off. I don't care. Fuck off.
Are you in charge, Andrew?
Yeah.
Are you in charge, buddy?
I am.
No, you're not. Josiah's in charge.
Richard, we
agreed to a
about
platform, and if you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
No, I'm going to speak for 10 minutes. I'm
going to
somewhere else
for 10 minutes then.
Listen, and
so I get to break the rules in this debate that we've already agreed on terms on. That's what he's trying to do, and he thinks that he just gets away with that because he's Richard Spencer. You know, some guy who got punched in the face because people didn't like him. I don't know anything else about him.
Drew, fuck you, man. You are the when I imagine like losers being attracted to the manosphere,
Okay, I'm going to roll that back just so you can watch that laugh again, because that was adorable. That's my favorite part of this whole debate.
Fuck off.
Are you in charge, Andrew?
Yeah.
Are you in charge, buddy?
I am.
No, you're not. Josiah's in charge.
Richard, we
agreed to a platform, and if you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
No, I'm going to speak for 10 minutes. I'm going
speak
to
somewhere else
give
for 10 minutes then.
Listen, Andrew, fuck you, man. You are the
right there.
When I imagine like losers being attracted to the manosphere, it's you, buddy.
I know. You got me, Richard.
Yeah. I did get you. All right.
You got me.
Thanks for agreeing with me, Josiah.
When you think of the manosphere, you think of a married man that like has 3 kids and a wife. I don't think of that at all.
I'm going to speak for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to say some interesting things.
I disagree.
Allow Andrew.
Can we stick to the format?
We're not playing fucking tennis here. I'm going to give
No, we're having a structured debate. Yeah, and we're having a structured debate, and we agreed to a format, and I'd like to stick to it.
Oh, I'm not going to back down.
No, I'm not going to follow the rules I agreed to. Now debate me the way I say. That's what he's trying to do here. And Andrew is a bigger name than Richard Spencer. I don't know any debate that Richard Spencer's ever won. I know a lot that Andrew Wilson has won.
Then go away.
I'm going to speak for... Why don't you go away, you little fucking...
Oh, no.
Now, they edited it, thank God, because he said bundle of sticks right there. And just because he knows that's against TOS, and he knows that they're going to have to do some work on their channels so that doesn't get through, because that's kind of a no word that they will demonetize you for saying that word, the bundle of sticks, because we're children.
Richard, let's keep it 5 minutes, no slurs, nothing. You can seriously sabotage both of our livelihoods by doing this.
I'm going to speak for a reasonable amount of time.
Oh, no.
I will allow Andrew to respond, and I'm not going to be timing him or something like this. Okay? That's what's going to happen. But do you agree with that, Josiah?
No, I do not agree with this. We have the 5 minutes. I think that structure makes sense.
Hey,
it's best
I actually can't anyway. He already broke the TOS. I already got to reboot the stream. So,
yeah.
Like that's the end of that. Appreciate the time, guys.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's right.
That is what smart YouTubers, unlike me, do. They reboot the stream so that they don't get in trouble and lose their monetization. That's a smart thing to do, right? And I wouldn't come back to debate this clown because he's just trying to troll. No one will ever try to change the terms of a debate 2 seconds before it starts. So we just got to sit there and listen to a 10 to 15 minute monologue because that's what he wanted.
Running away. He's running away. They did the exact same thing to our face.
Richard, we literally started this. We started this, and the first thing I said was literally no slurs.
Oh, I'm sorry, Josiah. Let's just do it again. But like that guy is so fucking annoying. I can't even.
I think Justin's Twitter says Josiah, and he's got some stuff on his channel that says Josiah. That's why it's kind of confusing. But Justin Reloaded is the name of the channel. Josiah, I don't know what that is.
Been put it into words.
Dude, no. Oh my gosh, bro. This has been 2 weeks of planning, Richard. 2 weeks.
Well, then why don't we have a conversation? I'll do it live. You don't need Andrew. He sucks.
No, okay. My audience loves Andrew. Andrew does a phenomenal job here. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, I'm gonna have to apologize.
He did the exact same thing to RFH. They don't want to debate. He just said, I'm going to speak in a reasonable amount of time, and I will allow him to have his time as well. This is the most reasonable thing on earth.
Yeah, no, okay. I understand, but dude, the structure was 5 minutes, right? I know you said 10 to 15. I said, this is the structure I'm thinking. You agreed to that. And then Andrew, I sent that over
I don't
to
care.
him.
We're not playing tennis, Josiah. I'm going to speak. I want to finish my statements.
No, I understand that. I get it. But at the same time, it's just, this is like, when you say something, you have to stay
He doesn't
by
want to be blown out of the water. So they do this like technicality. Do you honestly think I fear debating Andrew Wilson like in the slightest bit? Do you honestly think that?
Yes.
I think you were extremely bad faith when the guy.
How?
Because, dude, the first thing
How?
I said was, YouTube terms of service.
I'm sorry I called him a...
Did it
This
again.
is a channel, okay?
Did it a second time. They had to edit out a second time he used the words that he knows are going to get people's channels messed up. That's how bad faith this guy is.
I spent a ton of money on this channel, okay?
Okay.
And
Let's start over. I will begin talking. If Andrew wants to re-enter, then he can do that. I'll give you my time since I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's just, this is how YouTube works, and you can say it's being
Josiah,
cucked, whatever.
I'm
but,
correct. You've got I'm not doing this. All right.
What do you
I
mean?
have been
He does.
extremely reasonable, and the Andrew Wilson runs away like the little weakling that he is. And I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I will
I don't think
give
he's.
a opening statement to your...
I don't think he's a professional moderator. This was probably one of his early moderation attempts. But yeah, he probably could have taken control better. But he does end up winning the debate here because he takes over for Andrew, and you'll see.
your YouTube audience if you would like, and we could have a discussion for an hour. But this is not this guy is just he's a POS. Look at him.
I
Look at him. Look at him. Like, that's evidence. He kind of looks more like a piece of shit than Andrew to me. So I'm looking at him.
I like Andrew. He's been extremely charitable to me and my family. And
He's not actually a good person. He's a fucking dork and doofus, period. Okay? So let's not pretend like he's some cool guy.
Okay, where does all this tension come from? Is this come from the RFH
The dude who talks like that just called Andrew a dork. That's what the funny part is to me.
beef and with Rachel Wilson or something? You have
I have contempt for both of them just on a personal level, to be brutally frank.
I wish I knew this, man. It totally seems
I will
like
talk to them. I don't have an
sabotaged
axe to grind with either of them. All right? I just despise them.
Oh, man. I knew it was going to be an interesting debate because you guys disagree on axiomatic principles. So I wasn't figuring we would get to a middle ground here, but damn, dude. Damn. That's brutal.
Josiah, you've got to be a moderator and not just
He's telling him he needs to be a moderator, and he's the one who needs to be moderated. That's how funny this is.
take Andrew's side. I mean, just
No.
he just said, I'm going to conflate both things into 5 to 10 minutes. Then he's going to speak. We're not playing tennis. You don't need to serve, whatever. And
Not playing tennis again.
I'll
That's
give
two.
him all the time he needs. What is wrong with that?
Yeah. It really is. it really just comes down to simply the agreements that we made, right? If
Okay, I'm out, Josiah. Josiah, you have got to be. I'm going to teach you something. All right.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be reasonable with people. It's agreement. What I said, I suggested something. 10 to 15 minutes. You came back, and I'm like,
Dude wanted to do ramble on for 15 minutes. And you see, whenever you see you're going to see his debate prep come out too. He just wanted to make Andrew sit there for 15 minutes while he just talked shit about his wife, talked shit about his family, made up lies. You'll see.
like, okay, let's go. All right. It's not like we signed a contract in blood. I am asking for 5 to 10 minutes so that I can get my thesis out there. And then I will give him whatever time he needs to respond within reason. Right? This is how reasonable people work. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. So
Right? There's no
They changed the rules to the debate they agreed upon right before it starts. That's how reasonable people behave.
we're not playing fucking tennis for the third time.
yeah,
This is a debate and there's an ebb and flow.
I'm gonna attempt to once again do a little bit more of a moderate. Don't get upset with me, Richard.
Don't tennis matches go back and forth too? Isn't that like kind of like what it should be in a debate? Like I talk a bit, you talk a bit, not I talk all night long and then you wait and maybe you can talk a couple of minutes. He wanted a monologue and this is a debate.
But when we have the rules, the 5 minutes, and Andrew,
Okay. Josiah,
hold on.
I'm out. I don't want to hear,
I thought
I'm
you
not
said
going to
you'd
be
give me an hour.
lectured.
This
I'll
isn't
give
a
you an
lecture.
hour. I don't want to hear one more thing about how I'm not playing by the rules. I have been the most reasonable person.
Okay.
I've been the most reasonable person. I tried to change the terms of the debate right before it starts. Like Andrew plans these debates. He does week-long preps, like I should be doing right now. But he does put a lot of research into these and he has them planned out. He knows what you're going to say before you say it. You can't just come and change all the rules because you want to. Because you want to. Oh,
All right. You want to give your 10-minute rant on the red pill here?
It's not a rant, but yes.
it is.
You can jump in anytime you'd like, Josiah. So
Dude, I
the
He had nothing prepared. Watch this.
what?
okay.
The so-called manosphere emerged in the 2000s, mostly online, as a reaction to material realities that were deconstructing and disempowering, you could say, the nuclear family as a man's fundamental claim to power and status. What do I mean by
Yep.
this? Leave It to Beaver is no longer on the air. There was a time, and it's sort of an
Good point. What does that mean? No, a lot of shows aren't on the air anymore. What does that mean? What does it have to do with this debate?
imagined time when every man could get a job, join a union, own a car, own a house, have a wife and 2.3 kids, and there you go. What I would suggest is that that is an aberrational situation that emerged in post-war America after the Second World War that is something totally unheard of in world history.
Back that up. Back that up, because I know people were married. There was a nuclear family when I was growing up. What are you talking about? Do you have any evidence for that? Nope, just assertions.
And yet we have imagined this situation, the Leave It to Beaver situation, as something that men are entitled to, something that is historically
No, men aren't entitled to anything. They just have to go die in war for women, and they don't get anything when they come back. They get to come back to a girl on OnlyFans. That's what we get, right? People like this do not even understand what the red pill or any of the manosphere is about. They don't even get it. They just need attention.
relevant. This is how we always used to do things, something as bequeathed to us by God, et cetera, et cetera. So traditionalists are actually
It is in the Bible, to be fair, though.
completely ahistorical in their worldview and their normative claims to the nuclear family being the basis of society. The nuclear family is not that. The nuclear family, as we knew it in the mid 20th century, is actually fairly rare. The manosphere offers some fascinating insights.
It wasn't rare in the 20th century. We're in the 21st century. It's kind of rare now, but it wasn't rare in the 20th century.
Particularly with the ubiquity of hypergamy among women. I think so many of its evo-psych insights are correct and useful. I guess my beef with it is not in that analysis. My beef with it is not even in its, game tactics and strategies, how to pick up women, etc. My beef with it is the way that it has emerged as a sort of universal monogamy, as some sort of traditionalist outlook, but B, something that we need to have for the future. I say that it's an egalitarian
So you don't need monogamy for your future. You just need a woman who fucks everything and just accept it, right? That's what this guy's arguing for.
Socialist movement. I mean that quite seriously. It's a sort of conservative middle class Marxism in which we are not going to have a situation that resembles world history. We're going to have a kind of new situation where every man gets a woman and that's that, etc. Material conditions be damned. We've moved beyond the material conditions that inform any sort of situation like this. We are simply going to assert the nuclear family as the status quo forever. This is ridiculous. Now,
so don't strive for that. Don't strive for that. Don't try and get a wife. Don't try and have a woman who doesn't fuck everyone. Just keep fucking the ones who fucking move like that. That's the craziness this guy can't see. He makes no sense. He did no prep. This is obvious for him.
I mentioned hypergamy. That is women desiring to marry up, to find a better man, etc.
That's not all that hypergamy is. He probably read like one little quip about it and thinks he knows now. That is not all hypergamy is. It goes much deeper than that, and he's done no research.
That is a much more insightful notion, or it's much more insightful to say that about women than to say that they want to get married or they're all sweet or something. No, I think they want to marry up. I agree with that insight on some very deep primal level. That is what women want. But what do men want? Who are we? What is an expression of true manliness and masculinity?
It's really hard for me to take someone with that accent to be talking about manliness. Like, he sounds like he should be on Queer Eye, and he's talking about manliness. This is just funny to me.
For a loser like Andrew Wilson, he wants to be given a woman and he wants to be given some employment that he feels will give his empty life meaning, etc.
Is that what he wants? I think he's got a woman and he's got a career that's going better than Richard. So what is it he's saying Andrew wants?
And so on. That actually has nothing to do with manliness or masculinity. That is again, a rather mid-20th century middle-class fantasy from low-status males, Andrew Wilson being a...
Low status if you can't just fuck hoes. That's what he's saying. If you can't fuck prostitutes, you must be low status.
A prime example of this reality. What does it mean to be a man? It means to sail your ships into uncharted waters. It means to found the Roman Empire on the basis of a quest and a great rape, the rape of the Sabine women, to go out and do it, to grab them by the pussy, as it were. Women are the most essential resource, and real men go out there and get it. And only a select few of men are brave or bold or strong enough or fit enough in a Darwinian sense.
As if Richard Spencer is any of that. Like, he's a sissy. Like, he's a sissy telling us how to be manly. That's so hilarious to me.
To actually achieve this. And the rest of the men, to be frank, don't reproduce and die. Again, the manosphere is a socialist, egalitarian movement.
Socialist? How is that socialist?
To the extent that it wants to change this fundamental aspect of human nature and this fundamental aspect of masculinity. I can remember
Masculinity.
a great documentary that is narrated by David Attenborough called Life. And it goes through all sorts of reproductive strategies. And one of them that stuck out to me,
yeah, masculine guys are watching that,
was the Dawson bees that are these sort of earthen bees that burrow into hives. And once a year, what happens? It's mating time. And the women, the female, I shouldn't say women, the female bees
welcome back,
present
Nappy.
themselves
Missed you, bro.
above the earth. And all of the male Dawson bees engage in a ferocious orgy of violence in which they are attacking one another. Most all of them perish in this act. And
monkeys throw poo. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Oh, yeah, nothing.
one or two get through and actually inseminate the female Dawson bee and produce offspring. We don't even know which bees are able to do this because even the bee that wins, so to speak, is undoubtedly going to have his head ripped off and die in the melee and chaos of it all. That is an extreme example that gives us a hint of the reality that you see across the animal kingdom and across mammals.
Well, if bees are doing it, I guess that means mammals must be doing it too. Go ahead. Keep chasing fat, ugly old women until your head falls off. That's his advice here, I guess.
In fact, rams, antelope, etc., they will go in stark competition between men for the woman. Not everyone breeds. They don't pair up into a nuclear ram family in order to have offspring or something like that. What human culture created in the mid 20th century is synthetic. It's extremely unnatural.
Why is this idiot here? Could they not get Andy Dick? They really couldn't get Andy Dick. That's why he had to debate Richard Spencer.
Instead, it is a deadly competition between men. Antelopes, moose, deer, etc., they don't have antlers in order to hunt or to fight off predators. They have antlers in order to fight with other males of their species.
How does that apply to humans? I can't grow antlers. I've tried.
That is the quest for status that will give you the female. So this mid 20th century notion,
okay,
again,
give you the female. That's
do you not understand?
Yeah, what do you mean? Give you the female?
Win the woman, because women are hypergamous and they want the best male.
But I thought you just said grab him by the pussy.
So clearly, the best male is Richard Spencer.
Right, the best males grab them by the pussy. The best males.
So the best males
were the ones
take it
willing.
by force. They're not giving the women, right?
Well, if you want
So the best males are the sexual abusers. There you go.
to argue about
Good
semantics, then
Is that
you can.
semantics? So
Yes.
I think like hypergamy, honestly, Richard, it's interesting you take this approach to this debate because you're saying a lot of red pill coded things. I don't even know like how much I believe in hypergamy. It could just be my youth and my ignorance.
Or your
But, like,
handsomeness. Jesus.
I'm not the top 1%.
Yeah, but you're handsome. They'll still screw you. You're young and handsome. Of course.
I've never had any problems with my wife. I've been married for 4 years now. There's never been anything like that, you know? So maybe this is like lowbrow.
Your wife is hopefully not on dating sites, so they're not exposed to the hypergamy the rest of the population has to deal with. It is rough.
you know, like women or something. But like, I don't know. This seems like what the red pill say to like black pill the American from not having sex and from not wanting to get married. And I kind of thought you were going to kind of take that approach, but it is surprising to me that you
Women want to marry up. I mean, you could always find some exception to this rule or whatever, but yes. I mean, the
reminds me of
crucial
Andy Dick.
insight of F. Roger Devlin's article on sexual economy, etc., is basically men want to be Don Juan or James Bond. Women want to be Sleeping Beauty, and they're rescued by the.
Of course, women want to be the bitch that lays around for her whole show. The entire movie, she just sleeps. Of course, women want to be that. And then they get to kiss at the end from a handsome, like, prince. Of course, they want that.
Great prince. So they go
That's why they're so fat now.
up in the world in status by possessing the prime resource that there is. Sperm is cheap, eggs are dear. They make millions
And he knows because he's bought a lot of sperm. It's his favorite drink.
of sperm on a daily basis. Men masturbate, they have sex with some chick with using a condom.
In the movies he watches, they do.
They whatever. They're always going to have enough sperm. Eggs are a finite resource. Finite resources are valuable. So I think the basic insight of hypergamy coming from the manosphere is obviously correct.
What do you think masculinity is in its perfect form?
I wouldn't use the word perfect, but I would use the word primal or original form. And masculinity is not for all. We're not all going to, by definition,
It's not for you.
we're not all going to be alpha males. What is consistent across the animal kingdom and across mammals, less so than, say, insects, the salacious example that I used, is that the stronger, fitter males are going to reproduce more. Andrew Wilson's an excellent example of a, I don't know, low status loser male who married a black woman, for instance.
He believes the troll. He believes the troll. He believes Andrew Wilson was married to a black woman. I watched that. They did that on whatever. It was just a little joke, and he started making it a joke, a reoccurring joke. And this idiot actually believes it. That's the kind of research this fucking idiot did. None. He just wanted to get on the internet and say all these things in front of Andrew that aren't true and then act like they're real. I'm like, this is the level here. Oh my God.
And then this woman who was
he just plays along
knocked
with that
up
to troll. That's like a common.
I think that's
tactic,
actually
too.
true, and there have been records that prove this. And then this woman who got knocked up a few times, I don't know, badgers him into marriage.
If you wanted to shit on Andrew, you just had to listen and not break TOS, and you could have done this to his face, Richard.
Break TOS, I'm on the show and he's not. What does that tell you?
What do you mean?
I believe it.
I'm still here talking. He ran away. So what does this tell you?
It tells me that Andrew is a smarter.
He left because
Andrew
I broke
is a-
TOS.
Yeah, it tells me that Andrew is a smarter businessman than me because my stream is in jeopardy.
He's a smarter businessman than you.
Yeah, so think about this, right? If I came into your job and was like, say the N-word, say the N-word, say the N-word, bitch, say it, bitch, right? And then you said it, like, you actually could lose your job, right? It's kind of the same thing here on YouTube. Anyways, this is like, this might be beyond the point, but
I'm sorry I lost my temper and called him the F word, but that's what I think of him, to be frank.
I'm sorry I lost my temper.
And who ran away like a little girl? Who did that? Did I do that or did Andrew do that?
You're
Which
about
one
to,
of us did that, Josiah?
Who's about to do that? I keep watching.
Andrew.
yeah, I mean, there's a qualifier here, which is that they're like the terms of service, you know, Andrew's extremely successful.
Terms of service.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a break, Josiah.
Give me a break. Sorry, I said things that could get your entire channel nuked and you have to start over from scratch. My bad.
Because I'm like moments away from leaving. I'm sorry, but like this is just.
But then
I don't know
who's
what
going to
to
run
say.
away like a little girl then, though, Richard?
Uh-oh.
You're stuck.
didn't,
You're stuck
Josiah.
in this room with me now. I'm about to
Okay.
grab you by the
Do you
want
want to offer some sort of interesting comment here?
Yeah, no. I mean,
So-
I think I just did.
You didn't. So, I mean, do you have a disagreement? You think that women aren't hypergamous?
Yeah,
That what your
like
claim is?
lowbrow hypergamy. I think these are like red pill.
He
What
does.
does that mean? Lowbrow hypergamy.
Yeah, like lowbrow women, just like low class women, distasteful. I think like a real woman who is actually embodying femininity doesn't feel the urge to keep on climbing,
All
right?
true.
So, for instance, you see this with somebody like Ashley St. Clair. Ashley St. Clair is the ideal example of why hypergamy with somebody who is truly feminine and secure and has real confidence would have stopped. They would have stopped. But instead, she climbed and she climbed and she went from her, from Arsenal Media to then Mar-a-Lago to then Elon Musk. And now she's going to Hassan Piker. So this is what you would expect from low quality women who
Uh-oh. From Elon Musk to Hassan Piker? He's starting to go back downhill, I think. So she must be over the hill already.
don't actually understand femininity, they don't have any idea of confidence or security. Now, what women tend to do is they blame the insecurity on the men, and they say, this man he didn't provide me security, he didn't provide me safety. Actually, everything is usually okay. Everything usually fucking works out. Even whenever you're broke and you can't really afford rent, you always figure out a way to make it work, right? Would you
describe Andrew Wilson's wife as that sort of low quality female in the sense that she's just constantly finding new?
Just trying to dig at Andrew all he can. He had his opportunity to insult Andrew and he blew it. He blew it. He could have said all that to his face, but he had to be an asshole.
Baby daddies and marrying
because
people or something?
No, because what
He
happened
expresses true femininity, I guess, in your mind.
right now, absolutely, because what she's done is she's not still climbing.
I knew what you mean.
Right? It's not like she's with Andrew and she's going to something else.
She did get to a very low rung and stayed put, so I guess I'll give her that.
About 10 rungs up from where he's at.
And what
Look,
happened is
women-
we also see real masculinity from Andrew as well, because you know how difficult it is to adopt a child that's not your own blood and to actually love them as your own. Do you know what type of
That's
sacrifice
just gay.
That is a good point, Baba Josiah. Children are just gross. They put boogers on everything. They're awful. If you can take one in and raise it as your own, that is a very benevolent thing to do. Like, kids are nasty. Like, ugh. And you can love this little thing like it's your own. That's a very, very good thing for a man to do if you can do that.
humility that takes.
Josiah, what are you talking about?
You think that's
Why
gay?
would anyone want to do that?
Because it's
I'd kill for a woman who's been in 3 relationships. In 2026, that's a sub-virgin. That's she went beyond being a virgin, only having 3 relationships. Holy shit. I would kill for that.
I can understand that you do it
necessary.
in certain circumstances, but I mean, this is not some adopting someone else's child. It's not some ideal. You know, one of their children
we don't
die
agree.
due to
We-
neglect.
I like Andrew.
not due to
So I'm not sure these are
neglect.
great
Not
parents,
due
to be honest.
What are you talking about?
That's what I've heard doing some basic research.
You've heard wrong, and you're smearing a
They do.
family who's been through the ringer, and you're saying that this is their
How have they
fault,
been through
Richard?
the ringer?
Their child died, and you're saying it's because they neglected their child, Richard. Do you know how
That's
fucked
what
up
her
that is?
other husband claimed.
Oh, well, as long as you have facts like that. My ex says all kind of crazy shit about me, but she's a demon, so you can't believe demons.
Okay. So
I don't know.
fucking
Doesn't
what?
he have a point of view in this? Could he be right? I don't know.
No. I know.
Why?
I
Why
know
do you say that?
because that's not how this works. I know somebody who went through the same exact situation in Arizona. They went out, they were underage, they were also drinking, not legally able to drive, ran a red light, and one of them
Their
died.
young child
The
was
parents
hanging
didn't.
out with the wrong crowd, and her basically, if I remember
It can
correctly, this is the
always
story.
it can always be the wrong crowd.
Rebel Wilson was allowing the child to run with the wrong crowd. Her ex-husband or ex-lover, the father of the child,
Richard, I
was
don't.
worried about this.
He's just making up all kind of shit. He's already brought on that are black his black ex-wife. So he's just making shit up as he goes. Don't let it get to you. Everyone can see through this. This is just redonkulous. Ugh.
And was seeking custody. And he was apparently right in
what are
that
you
child
doing, man?
died in tragic
you
circumstances. I don't know. Does the truth hurt?
Dude, it's just painful to see you stoop so low, and I just can't figure it out.
Stoop so low?
Yeah, I just can't figure it out. Like you
He knows
came in
nothing.
clearly
He
hostile.
has no idea
you
what
know,
happened.
You didn't want to you came out trying to measure your dick, and it's like I just don't I don't understand.
Saya, I'm leaving. I'm done. Okay, and I'm done with you, to be honest.
Dude.
Thank you.
Rage quit.
Rage quit. Oh
Rage quit.
man, dude.
So you can see the moderator won this debate. This is the first time I've ever seen a moderator win a debate, and he just did it.
Rage quit.
Amazing.
I can't. You guys, I can't believe he rage quit. Oh my lord.
He just complained about Andrew rage quitting, and he rage quits.
Oh, that sucks, dude. I guess I win now. Wow, chat. He ran away like a little girl. I mean, like, who won?
To be fair, he kind of ran away like a little sissy. Girls run differently than sissies. Like, he had his hands out to the side, you know?
Can't handle just the slightest bit of accountability. He rage quit. Holy shit. I'm really sorry to the Wilson family. You guys have been so good to us, and you send us Christmas cards, you send us gifts. You really do show us that you love us and care about us. Anytime we're going through anything, I know that my wife can always call Rachel and reach out to her. And Andrew has done a phenomenal job in shaping how I view politics and where I stand. And his content, his debates have brought so much prosperity for me and my family, and for this channel specifically. I was looking forward to this debate, man. I was so hype about this. It took 2 weeks of planning. I was watching their old debates. I was so hype, and he just like clearly came in, and he had this agenda. It was very obvious from the beginning what he was trying to do. Oh man, I wish I knew, dude. I wish I knew ahead of time. But here's what I respect about somebody like Andrew. Andrew actually believes in what he says, and somebody like Richard is playing some weird Machiavellian games, and he doesn't believe what he says, which is why he does the things that he does. I'm glad he quit and rage quit, and I can have that W and avenge Andrew Wilson. I guess I'll just read some super chats now. Wow, what a freaking.
So he goes into this for a while. I encourage y'all all to go watch the full video. It's 3 hours long, and I got debate prep, so I'm going to cut this one here. But go check it out and subscribe to Justin Reloaded. He did a great job, and it's the first time I've ever seen a moderator win a debate. It's got to be a record. I can't even imagine how else it could have gone down like that, but that was amazing. The next video we're going to get to is, let's see. There we go. Michael Knowles. I got to move it all the way back. Let me set this up for a sec.
If you could wave a magic wand, right?
So this is Michael Knowles debating a panel of women. So it's Feminism Friday, so this is what I had to go to. But I think this should be a good one too. I saw a clip of this one, so I saw maybe 5 minutes of it. Let's get into it.
now, would you repeal the 19th Amendment?
I think it would be better for the betterment of the nation.
Women really just vote, I mean, especially on the left, just for abortion. And maybe we need to just reel it back a little bit.
Leftist Blondie, are you a child who only cares about slaughtering infants?
I hear this from you conservatives all the time. The countries where white women are the happiest are the countries where women are more equal to men. Switzerland, Norway, Sweden.
You brought in race. You're the one who says white women are only happy in the whitest countries in the world.
You're sitting here like covered in tattoos and like a cross necklace and colorful hair. I just want to point that out. It's not very
What's
good.
your point? Can you explain how having
I
red
think-
hair
I think
makes
it
me not a
looks-
Christian?
Traditionally, people like Michael Knowles on his team would call you a heretic for dressing like that and then calling yourself a Christian.
Should women vote?
No,
Should I even be allowed to have an opinion on that?
probably not.
I have answers to both of those questions, but I brought women on to give me political cover. I'm very excited to have back to the show one of my favorite libs I've ever had on any of my shows. That would be Leftist Blondie, who you can catch in one of my bar fight episodes just a few weeks ago. Returning once again, Melanie Mack, along
Leftist Blondie will not debate me. I've already offered.
with Emily Saves America. This is a nice reunion and an introduction to the show. Priya Patel, a conservative commentator. I'm going to tell a little tale out of school before we do.
She's going to be the hero from this one, I'm assuming, because I have seen some of hers. I think I did an interview with her and Pierce Morgan where Pierce tried to shit on her. She's got some base takes.
Delve into the question, ladies. I've wanted to have this debate for a while because I found I was doing public events and people were asking me seriously if we should work to campaign to repeal the 19th Amendment. I said, it doesn't seem totally realistic. I don't know. But they kept bringing it up, and it wasn't just a bomb throwing kind of thing. They were very serious about it.
Yes, we're very serious about it.
So I said, okay, well, let me see. Let's have a panel about it. Let's get some libs and some conservatives, people who support women voting, people who oppose women voting. I couldn't find a conservative woman who supported women's suffrage. The number of women who were conservative in the year of our Lord 2026 who actually think women should vote is vanishingly small.
That's a good thing.
So I said, man, the culture really shifts real fast, doesn't it? Could we just go around the horn real quick, in maybe in order of introduction? Leftist Blondie, Melanie, Emily, and Priya. Just real quick, do you think women should vote?
Yes, of course. I think that women should vote. It is in their best interests.
Next up.
I'm fine if we do or if we don't.
Send her my
Melanie?
number. I'll debate her.
I think if we had the right infrastructure, we wouldn't have to. But in our current infrastructure, yes, we need to vote.
Okay, Priya?
I think it would be a near impossible move for our country to make. But I mean, women's suffrage goes against essentially what the founders established in our country. So,
See, this is what I'm saying. So I get, this was the most diverse panel I could assemble. And you've got two conservatives who say, now women probably shouldn't vote, or maybe I don't really care, whatever. One woman says definitely shouldn't vote. And then we have Leftist Blondie out there who says, yes, it's in their interest. So without revealing my perspective on this just yet, Leftist Blondie, you're the odd man out, odd lady out. Why should women vote?
Something in between. Yeah. So I think there's a few different arguments. You can look at political philosophy that has a lot of arguments regarding voting and why citizens in general should vote. And if those arguments extend to women, then women also have a duty to vote. You can look at things like people who opt.
The one duty they think they have is to vote. That's it. No other duty for women. You don't have to reproduce. You don't have to go and defend the country. You don't have to do shit but fucking decide who we're going to go die in war with. Thank you. Thank you. Ugh.
Into a social contract, whether tacitly or actively, have a moral obligation to vote. If women are included in those people who have opted into, a social contract in a society where they benefit from voting, then they should be able to vote.
Okay, well, let's say they benefit from voting, but as you point out, the social contract, this premise of liberal government, says that people get certain rights from the government and they have certain responsibilities toward the government. And so one of the arguments made by people who oppose women's suffrage is that men have many more obligations than women do. Most notably, perhaps, the draft. They've got to go out there and fight in wars. The government can compel them to do so. Women, at least for now, don't have that obligation. So if men...
And that's just the ones that are on paper. If you're out in a crowd and a girl's getting her ass beat by some guy and you don't do anything, people will look at you like you're a eunuch. You have to step up. It's just kind of expected. And at this point in my life, I don't know that that's my obligation anymore, because I've had enough of women expecting to be protected and not doing anything in return.
And have more at stake, is more on the line for men. Shouldn't men have more say over when we do and do not go to war?
Well, that question wouldn't make it such that women should no longer be able to vote or shouldn't vote. It would just mean something like maybe men have, more of an obligation to vote, or maybe men their vote should weigh more or something crazy like that. But that's not.
They're going to be the ones
with women.
They're going to be the ones fighting the wars that those ballots you turn in, that could determine who we're going to go fight in a war with. So yeah, you should have to go do it too. You want to be equal, but you want to be a princess too. Like, you want your worker bees to go fight your wars for you, but you don't think you owe anything. Your only duty is to vote and decide who we got to go die to.
Voting, I don't think that the draft should be a thing. So I think that saying like, well, men just have these greater obligations, that kind of assumes that they should be. So
but
I don't think that men
we
should
have
a
a draft now at the very least. We have selective service.
Well, presumably we're not here to talk about like what currently exists. We're here to talk about like what people should
let's not talk about the things that make my argument look retarded.
do.
No, but I guess your point is, so right now, year of our Lord, 2026, where a ton of conservative women now are anti-women's suffrage, you say that we're all in this social contract together and that's why women should vote. And I'm just pointing out right now, men have certain obligations that women don't have. And so doesn't that contradict your argument?
No, it doesn't actually contradict my argument. In fact, there's other supplemental arguments that could motivate women to voting. So I think that just because people have certain moral responsibilities doesn't mean that they somehow should get
a moral responsibility to go die in a war for a Middle Eastern country that we don't even have anything to do with. Why do we have that obligation and you don't? But you get to vote just the same as us. And if we don't go and die in that war, then they take away our right to vote. That sounds fair. So equal.
Get a more political say in something. And once again, we're here to talk about
moral responsibilities.
But we're here to talk about what people should do. If we want to talk about like, oh, okay, well, there's currently people in our justice system who are wrongfully incarcerated. Well, that's just the.
So because there are other ills in the world, that means that women get to vote and make men go die in war. Is that the argument? Like, I don't understand this. How is that a point? Yes, people are falsely incarcerated, and that's why they can appeal it and go through the process to get out. What does that have to do with this? Nothing.
The way it is, I guess they'll be wrongfully incarcerated. Well, we should talk about what kind of society that we want to see.
No, but I guess there might be some confusion here. We're not talking about morality necessarily in this question. You said that the whole premise of your argument is that we have a certain civic setup and we have certain benefits that we get from civil society, and we have certain obligations. And so if certain people have more civic obligations, then shouldn't they have more rights within the civil society?
Well, no, certainly not. You can look at like people like police officers. I think police officers in certain cases have more of an obligation to protect their citizens.
But they volunteer.
Now, do they have, okay, right, but they still take that responsibility upon themselves. So they do still have more moral.
She's not understanding. No one is asking us if we want to go into the draft. You're just put into the draft. Like, they give you a card and say, fill this out or go to jail. You fill it out, and now it's just automatic. Men are just going to go into the draft. She thinks this is like the same as like a job you apply for. Like, yeah, women are in the military, but they chose to be in the military. Like, we don't get a choice. Why do you get a choice and we don't? Oh.
Obligations. I think that politicians have more moral obligations and political obligations than the average person does. Should a politician's vote matter than the average person's? Well, no, of course not.
Absolutely.
Okay, and? Priya, you're the most opposed to it. Why should women not vote?
The founders believed in universal suffrage. And I mean, I think that self-governance comes with a moral responsibility, but also, I mean, some sort of stake in the game. And today we have a mass movement of people that are hyper dependent on the government, that don't have any personal property that they own. They're not married. They have nothing that they're actually voting for other than emotional and short-term, I mean, essentially incentives, right?
And brainwashing.
Of course, that ties into the 19th Amendment, but it's not necessarily an argument to take away women's rights altogether. But I mean, I think that the problem is destructuring exactly what the fundamental political unit is, and that's the family.
Yes, because look, when you say essentially that women are just more emotional, and I say, well, sure, maybe that's true.
It's just like having lady cops, right? You just want them there for the PR. Like they could take pictures of them. And so every time you see a picture of a cop, it's going to be a lady cop. That's what that's for, right? They're not really there to go and die in war like men are. We're the ones they feed to the meat grinder, not the ladies. So they could all be drafted just to go peel potatoes or make sandwiches, whatever. Men need that too. So get them doing that. Get them doing something. Give them some kind of civic responsibility. If you're going to dump it all on men and then expect the women to get to vote for free, you're going to have problems.
True. But also, there are plenty of men who are low information, who are emotional. There are plenty of men who in an ideal regime probably wouldn't vote either. So I think you've really hit on the point here, which is,
I think she misspoke.
Well, when the country was founded,
I think she was trying to say that they didn't believe in that because she knows that. And her rest of her statement kind of proved that. I think she just misspoke there.
The fundamental political unit was the family. And then the 19th Amendment says, no, the fundamental political unit is the individual. And this is why there were so many women, I think it was the majority of women, who opposed women's suffrage, who opposed the 19th Amendment.
I thought that number would be higher.
And it's not just that they were self-hating women or they were misogynists or something. There actually is a deep political philosophical question here, which is, well, hold on, what's going to be the basic unit of society? Is it going to be the family or is it going to be the individual?
Exactly. And it was the family when the founders, wrote up the Constitution and, essentially founded our country. But now we have a society of hyper individualism, and that's not only tied to women and feminism, it's obviously spread throughout society. But right now it's nearly impossible for young people to actually gain ownership of anything. And they're voting for more government dependence, honestly, and punishing people that actually make society, that vote in the interest of the person and the ability to move upward in society, upward mobility, essentially. They're voting against that. They're voting for more government spending and punishing the people that actually help society run.
So I think she's making the argument that women are really bad at voting. So that's why they shouldn't do it. And I agree with that too. But the bigger issue for me is just the hypocrisy of it all. You get to vote on a war you're not going to go fight in? Fuck you.
That's not just a woman thing. There are male libs. They're one of the most odious groups in the world. And so that specifically, like if you could wave a magic wand right now, would you repeal the 19th Amendment?
Yes.
I would. I think it would be better for the country overall. And I would gladly give up my right to vote for the betterment of the nation. But do I think that that's a realistic thing that would happen today? No, but I think that we could go back to something in terms of, I don't know exactly how you'd structure this, but something of a single family vote. But there would have to be some sort of stipulation because, of course, the individuals that are unmarried and don't own property would vastly outnumber those that are married. But we'd have to structure it somehow to where maybe you're married or you're a property owner or you're a business owner, because I think that's the only way that we get back to a society that's actually voting for the betterment of the people. And
I would agree with that. Like you could give women the right to vote if they're married, but they have to have 3 kids first, right? That's how we fix the population numbers. You can vote after you have 3 kids and no government assistance for any of them. If you can do that, then you get to vote. There, how's that?
That's how you earn self-governance, I think, at the end of the day.
People who have a stake in society. Emily, you said you don't care. You don't care. You're being so flippant about your right to vote that your feminist, I can't say your feminist ancestors because a lot of the feminists didn't have kids, but like your great aunt, was marching for her with the suffragettes, and you're just spitting in her face and
that aunt died with cats.
Saying you don't care that she won you the sacred right to vote. How dare you?
Michael still believes that it was a bunch of women who got the right to vote, like that it was the women who did that and not the globalists.
Yeah, a lot of men helped out as well. And maybe she wasn't doing that. Maybe she was sitting at home and she was very happy and she didn't want to go work because it sucks. And I've never met a woman that really wants to go to work.
When they put it on ballots, the women voted against voting rights. They did not want it because they kind of just figured, hey, we're going to have to go get drafted and do fire service and all this other stuff that comes along with voting. And then they just said, let's let you get away with none of that. You just go do nothing. Go be a princess and we'll go die for you.
I feel like it's kind of like we have to treat women now almost like children. It's like we gave them too much. Now we need to reel it back in a bit. You kind of have to teach them a lesson the hard way. And I don't understand. People are voting and they have no stake in the game. They're voting for more government. They want more free handouts. And then women really just vote, especially on the left, just for abortion. That's the only thing they care about. They want the right to kill innocent babies. And so I'm like, I don't know, maybe we gave you guys too much and maybe we need to just reel it back a little bit.
Yeah,
is that going to happen? No, it would.
Leftist Blondie, are you a child who only cares about slaughtering infants? And do we need, to teach you a lesson, Leftist Blondie, per Emily?
Well, if we want to talk about unjust slaughtering in the United States, I think we should address factory farming first. So I'm more considerate about that type of issue. If we're talking about lives
yeah, let's worry about the dead chickens, not the dead humans that are going to go die in Iran.
Justly being taken. So we can go into that kind of thing if you really want to. But I don't think that the abortion, of course, there's a fundamental disagreement that the taking of the fetus's life before sentience is unjust. So I think there would need to be an argument given for that.
Not nearly as unjust as killing the chickens, you would say.
I was going to say,
I agree. No, you're right. Yeah, no, killing a fetus that's not sentient is less unjust than killing an animal that is sentient and can feel pain and desires to live. So yeah.
Do you hear how crazy that is? A chicken has more rights than a baby.
I think it's a pretty moral grave wrong. But there's going to be pretty severe disagreement on that.
I'm starting to go into one camp on the 19th Amendment now. That answer is pushing me much further.
This is the problem.
I'm getting radical.
She's showing you why women shouldn't vote.
We want to take away their rights.
There's a lot more to say. First, though, go to preborn.com/Knowles.
No.
A lot of good. Don't. One of the many reasons the industry will never give 50 say keyword baby.
Yeah. But also now they came out with plants have feelings that can feel pain. So technically, if you eat vegetables, kind of evil as well.
That's just incorrect. Well, if plants have feelings and plants can feel pain, then you should eat vegan because then you're eating less plants. But anyways, so to address what Michael said,
plants. I know this is getting a little far afield, but if you're not eating plants and you're not eating meat, are you eating rocks? Well, certainly you're eating organic matter, I think. Isn't that how eating works?
Eating vegan causes less crop deaths and less animal deaths. So yes, you should eat it. And it also causes less plant deaths because most of the crops that we grow go towards livestock.
I'm going full Al Bundy on the 19th Amendment every second this conversation. Melanie,
bringing you over, Michael.
Melanie.
Well, I really want to address really quickly, if I can,
I think she thinks that chickens are sentient, but babies aren't because you can't talk to them because they're in a belly. So they're not sentient.
Yes, that about, you should have to own property or maybe have a family or be married to vote. So then are you fine excluding, and what Michael said about men have to go to war. So what about the men who can't go to war? What about the people who will never get married or can't get married, like nuns? Should nuns not be able to vote?
Yeah, they're not going to go fight in any wars. What, we're going to have a flying nun dropping bombs? No, they don't need to go to what? I don't even know if they want to vote. Have you asked?
Certain priests not be able to vote?
I honestly don't think most nuns do vote, to be honest with you.
No, in fairness, if they vote, they probably vote Republican. So I do want to enfranchise the nuns, but.
Right. So you're disenfranchising groups that you don't want to disenfranchise by doing that sort of thing.
Well, that's a very good point. This is my hesitation, really, because I think what the crux of the matter is a disagreement over how people view voting in itself. Some people think voting is a good in itself. Like when Puff Daddy 25 years ago, before the freak-offs and all that, before the prison, when he would just go out and he'd say, vote or die. Like, I'll shoot you if you...
He didn't want to say before all the butt sex.
Don't vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. You just got to vote. And I thought, well, I don't know. Voting in itself doesn't mean anything at all. You go, you pull a ballot. These days, you type a number on a computer. And so that doesn't matter. It's an instrument for good government. And so I'm with you, Priya and Emily. I would happily surrender my vote if they disenfranchised millennial cigar smokers, and that would give millennial cigar smokers are super right wing, but if cigar smokers generally, but if doing so would give me better government, take my vote. I don't care. Now I get a Tuesday free every November. Melanie, do you have a more reasonable take?
I do, because I think some of these are short-term solutions that sound all fine and good right now. I think that if women didn't vote right now, it would fix a lot of short-term problems. But we have to look at the big picture here, and we have to look at before when women didn't vote, it was because most of them, the high majority, were in the home and they weren't out in the workforce. Now, almost 50% of the workforce is women. And then also you have the fact that almost everybody who voted back in the day before women could vote were Christian men. And so right now, society isn't exactly functioning optimally in a Christian manner. And I think that truly how we succeed as a nation is going to be with God. And so if we are not acting as a Christian nation, then I don't trust giving up my vote to godless men. I just don't. And I think that especially given like the rise of Muslims, that are just taking over everywhere, and things like that. We run into potential issues in the future of where it's like, okay, I don't want to be forced to wear a hijab. I want to at least be able to have a voice and say, no, I ain't down with that. So if society really put their focus on God, and then we had more rules in place, like, okay, a landowner, and all of this stuff.
She's not getting the correlation here. The godlessness is coming from the women. They're the ones wanting to murder children. It's not a bunch of men saying, hey, let's go get women to murder babies. That's the women who want that.
Then, okay, maybe it can work. But right now, in a pretty secular society that isn't focusing on God and that has gone full clown world in a lot of ways, I don't trust giving up my vote.
Okay, so leftist Blondie says that women should vote because chickens are more precious than fetuses. And Melanie, you're saying women should vote because Muslims and atheists threaten all of us in the country. Leftist Blondie,
yes.
Would you? So then, therefore, leftist Blondie, you. Sorry, I've got to point that way. You are on the side of Melanie. You both think that women should vote, but you don't fear Muslims and atheists.
No, I'm not really generally scared of Muslims, not in the US at least. I may feel different if I lived in the Middle East, but
they're not the
I'm
most
certainly not scared
feminist
of
people,
atheists.
Muslims, in my experience.
Right.
Maybe the idea is maybe we enfranchise the Muslims, and then the Muslims, they have a lot of kids and they spread out all over the place. They've already taken over several towns in the United States, and then they are the ones who repeal the 19th Amendment. Kind of. Yeah, right now it's a small replacement, but it could, I guess if they're very fecund, they could have a great replacement. And then when they come into power, I don't think there's a lot of women's suffrage in Muslim countries.
Yeah, I'm not scared of Muslims replacing me. That's very strange. I don't know if we're like the superior.
Muslims wouldn't try and replace you. You fucking podcast from your bedroom. What are they going to do? Come take your bed?
Like statistically happening. The great replacement theory is real, and it's backed up by data, and there's government documents. You can literally go read about it, and it's literally happening. Look at the UK, and then look what's here.
And the Democrats
a bunch of
brag about
white
it too.
People are too busy sterilizing themselves, having abortions, taking SSRIs, being single, being girl bosses. And
you know the countries where
coming here and they're popping out 50 babies. Look at the Somalians. It's like that is very real happening, whether you like it or not.
You know where the white women are the happiest? Take a guess.
Guess what countries?
Where?
So are you going to check yourself in?
Hold on. Where are white women the happiest?
I'm good.
Wait, leftist Blondie. Where are white women the happiest?
Muslim countries. Okay, so you proved my point. They're happiest in Muslim countries where the rights are taken away. So we should take away the right to vote.
No, where are the white women the happiest? I want to know.
Yeah, I know where.
The countries where white women are the happiest are the countries where women are more equal to men, and they also have greater reproductive rights. Switzerland, Norway, Sweden.
White places.
All the Nordic countries.
That's what she's going to get you watch.
White countries. Okay, all right. Well, I don't want to touch that one.
Where are we talking about great replacement, or are we talking about voting and whether or not women should vote?
You brought in race. You're the one who says white women are only happy in the whitest countries in the world. I was just trying to talk about voting.
I didn't say.
That's why he kept asking, where are you talking about? Where are you talking about? I knew he was going to say that.
This is a straw man. I think that's incredibly dishonest coming from the right. Saying that, that's what I'm claiming is that white women are only happiest in these white countries. I'm not saying that they're only happy in those countries. I'm saying that the correlation with women being able to vote. And
you did make her say it. You kept asking until she said it. Yes, you did.
Have reproductive choices makes them happier. And that's backed up by data. That's actually
women can vote in a lot of countries. You're the one who said they're only happy in the white country.
Raping them like they are in the Islamic country.
Do you think that I think that women in Afghanistan are happy?
No, because you think they're only happy in the white countries. Okay, so on women's happiness, I want to make hold on. I just want to point out. So over the 20th century, you had this rise in feminism. In the early 20th century, you get the 19th Amendment and the first wave of feminism. Then you get the second wave of feminism, this explosion in the 1960s. Then we had the third wave in the 90s. Now we're in like the 57th phase or something. But there was a strange.
Now you're a misogynist if you spread your legs too wide on the bus or on the subway. That's where we're at now. We went from equality to you're taking up a little too much room with your legs so that they can take two seats and put their purse in another seat.
Strange study, apropos of our conversation about women voting and whether these supposed rights have actually made them better off. There was a study that came out of Yale, I think it was 2008, was called the paradox of declining female happiness. And it found that during the rise of feminism, women became less happy. Now, men also became less happy, but women became even less happy than the men did. So the Yale study viewed this as a paradox. They said women should be so much happier because feminism's on the rise.
Yes, women love having bills and having to go to work and answer to some boss guy. They love that. Why would this shock you? Of course they don't love feminism. That was brainwashing. What woman would say, hey, I want to leave my comfy house with the air conditioning and go sit in some temperature controlled room with other people where they tell me what to do? No woman would want that. That was brainwashing.
And now they're single and they work in the widget factory for Mr. McGillicuddy and they vote and they sleep around and they can kill their kids and it should be so great. But then it turned out they got really unhappy during exactly that period of time. So wouldn't that be an argument against the various feminist policies, potentially all the way up to including suffrage?
Well, there's a problem here with correlation and causation, and I'm sure you understand that as a college graduate yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't correlate that, hey, people don't like to be bossed around all day. That makes you less happy. That's the exact, it is the correlation. It's not, oh my God. It is a causation. That is why people don't like to be bossed around, and it makes you less happy to have to suck that up and answer to a boss. And worry about bills.
Not only like something just existing at the same time doesn't mean that thing causes the other thing.
It doesn't mean it, but it does raise your eyebrows. It doesn't mean it doesn't.
Well, then take this example and raise your eyebrows at this. Ice cream sales go up in the summer, so does violent crime. Is ice cream sales correlated now with violent crime? Of course not. These things are separate.
No, but I guess the distinction between this comparison of violent crime and ice cream and the point that I'm making is that we're studying, on the one hand, additional political licenses and rights given to women and new social opportunities given to women and how women are feeling about their state and life. So those two things are intrinsically related, whereas violent crime and ice cream have nothing to do with each other.
Intrinsically related?
Yeah. What women do and how women feel are intrinsically related.
All you're doing is begging the question.
I'm not begging the question.
All you're doing is begging the
question
that that is true.
That habit
you are
and
assuming that is true when that's what's in dispute. You're assuming that that's true when that's what's in dispute.
I'm not just assuming that. I'm explaining why those two things are related. The things that I do during my day are directly related to the way that I feel, whereas an ice cream cone and a murder are very likely not related at all.
You could get an ice cream cone and then go commit a murder. What the f are you talking about?
Ice cream does not make people commit murder. That's my case. I don't want to be guilty of...
And I disagree that feminism causes people to be unhappy.
Women
make
to be
the
unhappy.
case that that's the case.
Melanie? What do you think?
I feel like she was just going on about how, women in countries where they can have abortions are happier. And I feel like
this is an argument from the protests, that the protests would pick up in the summer. They always say that because people don't like to protest in the cold. Like they want to go out when it's nice and warm. You take the shirt off and act crazy. People do protest more in the summer. So that they are more violent because it's hot. And they can get away with it.
That's inaccurate as well. It's not the abortions that are making these women happier. Women who have abortions, most of them experience trauma and it messes them up. So this is a whole psyop to make women vote for something that actually hurts them and that benefits men who can sleep with women without committing to them and without marrying them or taking care of them. So all it is, it just benefits men.
I mean, that's just like
it just benefits women. Let's men use women for their bodies. That's all it's about. And especially if you look at the history of abortion and all of that kind of stuff, like a lot of it was because men wanted to be able to sleep with women. And then they somehow were able to manipulate women into thinking that it's good for women to abort their babies because these men don't have to take responsibility for sleeping with women and using their bodies.
Fact check, true. That's totally
look, we can paint abortion out to be this thing that traumatizes every single woman and that no woman should ever do because some women experience trauma out of it. But 95% of women think that the abortion after the fact was the right decision for themselves.
But that number is different from abortion regret. It's true. You're right that a very high number of women who have abortions go on to say, I stand by my decision. I think it was the right decision. But a very large number, I think it's...
They also die in a house with cats. That's a phenomenon that is on the rise.
It's in the 60s, but I don't have the exact statistic, do say they experience some form of regret or trauma or difficulty. So those two things can be true at once. You can say, I found this very traumatic, but it was still the right decision. That's how the statistics kind of lie about it. Regardless, though, to Melanie's point, what she's saying is, look, women have voted for all these things. Women got the right to vote. They voted for all these things like abortion. These things have made them unhappy at a personal level. And I mean, unless you're unwilling to say that any social phenomena can have a causative relationship, I think we would have to say that probably there's a little bit of causation there. And so therefore you'd say, what's the good of voting? What's the good? If it's made even the women, the people it was intended to help unhappy, what's the point? What good did you get out of it? You got to pull a lever in a voting booth?
This is still a classic question begging. I don't agree to the conclusion, and you're assuming the conclusion.
Let's step back, because I'm not begging the question, but
you are.
Is it the case that women have become less happy over the last 60 years?
Yes, but that's not sufficiently explained by feminism.
Why have they become less happy?
We actually talked about this already. I think it's social and wealth inequality.
Why are they less happy?
And the rise of hyper-individualism.
Why have they become even less happy than men? Men just don't care about
why have men
wealth
become
inequality?
unhappy? That's a more
The good news is a lot of those guys don't care anymore. They just gave up on women because they're so awful.
important question
That's
to
the
look at is
reality.
why have men also become more unhappy?
But that's not the question.
Is it also
I'm asking.
feminism?
Why? That's not the question I'm asking.
Is it also feminism?
Why have the women in particular become unhappy? Coincidentally, exactly over the period of the rise of feminism. Why do you
Well,
reject
there's-
my answer, which is that it probably has something to do
there's-
with feminism? So what's your answer?
Why would feminism disproportionately make women unhappy?
Because
if
it's
feminism
a false
is this type of
I'll happily
liberation.
I'll answer your question. Because it's a false anthropology that makes mistakes about human nature, and it tells women that the only way for them to flourish is to pretend to be like men with whom they are indiscernible. So it says that men and women are identical and indiscernible rather than what they actually are, which is complementary. And so by telling women to behave exactly as men, you are acting contrary to nature, and because of that, women will flourish less and be less fulfilled.
And I'm going to give you guys, you younger guys who maybe don't understand this yet, because I'm older and I'm trying to date my own demographic. If you tell women to act and behave like men for long enough, they start to look like men. And that's what the dating pool looks like now. I'm fucking seeing women who look more like men than my dad looked. Like, it's just disgusting. Like, that's also going to cause some issues with the dating, like, you know, maybe not reproducing, but it is going to be an issue when you get older.
I bet you can do something like look at modern feminist philosophers and ask them if they truly think that there's zero differences between men and women, which we've already also talked about. I don't think that there's zero differences between men and women, nor do I think men are women. So I think that you doing this thing where you cherry pick certain feminists and then you go cherry pick certain feminists and then you go, oh, well, it's part of a core thing about feminist philosophy that you must think that men and women are the same. And then this is the thing that causes women to be somehow more depressed or more unhappy than men are. Well, wouldn't that also work the same way and apply also to men?
If you acknowledge that men and women are different, then why would you both get the same response? Why would you both get to go vote, even though you're not going to go defend it and he is? Like, you have to defend that vote. If you have no stake in the game, you have no business voting.
Yes, men have also become less happy, but because...
But why not at the same rates? If feminism is the cause, feminism affects everybody.
Because it does affect everybody, and it's been bad for everybody, but feminism tells women in particular to act in a way that is contrary to their nature, in a way that it doesn't exactly tell men to act contrary to their nature.
Wait,
Feminism
you don't
basically
think
just says
that?
everyone
That's
needs to
not
act
even
like
true.
a
You
man.
don't even believe that. You don't even believe that.
I do.
You
believe
really
it.
think that, because I hear this from you conservatives all the time, that you think that feminism is the thing that caused the feminization of men over the last 50 years. You don't believe that?
No,
I think a lot of that's the soy and the
liberalism helped to
veganism.
cause
Okay,
the
so you do think that it
feminization
has
of
come the
men.
same way.
Yeah, I don't think it's just
I think
feminism.
Soy
I
doesn't
think it's
feminize
both. I think it's
anyone.
society,
That's
and
not
I think it's
scientifically
everything
backed.
they're like poisoning men with. And I also think women have like also aggressively like shamed men for so long that it's like inherently made them very feminine. It's like, you know, I see girls like, if you don't support abortion, I can't be with a man like you. If you like,
How does she breathe through her nose? Look at that. It looks like AI.
Like open a door. If you hit on me, if you ask me out, you're like creepy. And then they're like going on dates and it didn't go well and they put out, then they feel bad after. Now all of a sudden the guy's a rapist. So I think it's like a mix of all those things. It's not good for either. But also, can we just use like common sense as someone who was on the left and is now probably as far right as you can go? Do I enjoy work? Does it fulfill me? No. Does it make me feel? No.
She's going to need a child to pick her nose one day, so she better start having children because her fingers will definitely not fit in those nostrils.
Oh, my lovely boyfriend and my dogs and hopefully children one day. That is like, that's the dream.
Yeah.
I love
Not
that.
yet.
That brings me
that,
happiness.
though. I got to debate Sunday night.
Talk about how much we love our jobs and it's so happy, or me and any of my friends. No, every single woman I talk to is like, I hate working. It sucks. I can't wait to find a good man, and I can't wait to be a mom
like
because that's
friends.
rewarding.
It's like one.
It's
I'm
like
not saying there are no exceptions. It's like 1 out of 500. I agree. It's like 1 out of 500 women is a Margaret Thatcher type, but 499 out of 999 out of 1,000 is exactly with you, Emily. That's the case. And to your point, leftist Blondie, if you say no, Michael, you misunderstand feminism. You miss the invisible ink in Mary Wollstonecraft or Simone de Beauvoir, Betty Friedan. Really, the feminists say that men and women are quite different. Then you say, okay, well then why do we need to extend the exact same political rights to women that we do to men? I thought that was your original premise.
Good point.
That's like saying, like, well, if white people and black people are different in certain cultural ways or things like that,
but I don't think white people and black people are meaningfully different.
Why should we extend the same? Why should we extend the same rights to them?
Because the sexual difference is much greater than a racial difference.
Wait, but you're missing the point here. We could take somebody who's
black guys do get drafted. Does she think black people don't get drafted? Black men do. We're talking about taking away the vote from women who are white and women who are black because you're not going to go fight those wars. What does this have to do with race?
Disabled, somebody who's wheelchair bound. Someone who's wheelchair bound is significantly different from somebody who's not wheelchair bound.
No, I
that
disagree
doesn't mean that
with
we
that.
should start excluding
That's
them
the point I'm
politically.
making. I disagree with that. I think that
you
the
don't think
sexual
that somebody.
No, I think look, all individuals are different to a certain degree, but I think that the difference between men and women as categories is much, much greater, almost immeasurably greater than the difference between an Italian guy and a black guy and a Jewish guy and a guy missing an arm and a guy in a wheelchair. I think that difference, that sexual difference, is really the fundamental distinction within human nature, whereas racial differences are a little more difficult to nail down.
Such that it would exclude someone for voting or should exclude someone from voting?
Well, listen, I'm just listening to you ladies. I'm trying to get your opinions. I haven't voiced an opinion
so there's
yet.
no
I'll give you my
argument.
opinion at the end.
I'll go on the record. I think black people should be allowed to vote. Like, what the fuck is she saying? We're talking about women, not... They always try to do this. This is a misdirection right here. She's just trying to misdirect and get it to talk about anything else but how women shouldn't vote.
Give you my opinion at the end of this.
Right.
Priya, you've been very ladylike in your silence and demurring in this conversation. However, has leftist Blondie convinced you at all?
No, not remotely. If anything, she's radicalized me even more to abolishing the 19th Amendment, I think. But no, I mean, she's sitting here saying that feminism doesn't inherently argue that men and women are equal and have no differences at all. But they don't need to make that argument to essentially advocate for exactly that. And that's all feminism is. And it erodes the family, which is the fundamental political unit. So if you take away everything that society is supposed to stand on, I don't know what we're even arguing for.
Yeah, this was the argument. This was the argument from the anti-suffragettes, from all those ladies who said,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a psyop. I don't fall for that either. I don't care what people call me. Call me racist, call me anti-Semitic. As long as I can look in the mirror and know that I'm not, I don't really care what people think anymore. And that's how everybody's got to get, because they're just trying to label you so that nobody listens to you now. That's not going to go anywhere. We're past that.
This is giving women something that we do not want. This is upending our political order. This is a threat to the family. We've seen many other threats to the family and attacks on the family, even the redefinition of the family in recent years. So I have a solution. Do you want to hear my solution? My solution
Let's hear it.
I agree one is not going to repeal the 19th Amendment generally. And nor maybe should we. To your point, Melanie, we live in a pretty degenerate culture right now. So I don't know that would necessarily be good. But I don't think that voting is a good per se. I don't think the framers and the founders thought voting was a good per se. In fact, the president was elected by an electoral college in the early years of our republic, not by popular voting. Senators were elected by the states. And so this idea that individuals universally going out and voting is as American as apple pie is totally revisionist history. What I would do, because I do want the nuns to vote. I want, because they vote for Republicans, and I do want married women to vote. They vote Republican, and I do. So here's what I would do. Without removing.
So he just nullified his entire argument. If your only reason for saying this is because you want your side to win, then we have no reason to listen to you. We're talking about a debate over the greater good for all of us, not just the greater good for your party.
A single woman vote. What I would do is take away the votes from the single women. And I know there are going to be plenty of conservative single women, but just generally speaking, the single women vote for Dems and the married women vote for Republicans. So I'd take all the votes from the single women, even though some of them are Republicans. When they get married, they'll become conservative. They'll get to vote again. I'd make an exception for nuns who are married to God.
And they'll all just pretend to be conservative so they can vote and then vote however they want to vote anyway, Michael. Good plan.
And I would give them 2 votes. And then all the single women would have no votes whatsoever. The men would keep their 1 vote, and therefore the families would get 3 votes, and the single people would get no votes, and we would live in utopia. Does that work?
I think this is.
We'll be fighting wars in the Middle East forever if Michael gets his way, I guess.
Really thought about that.
I've thought about it a long time.
That does sound pretty great, but I think a really practical solution is that it's on us, as those of us who are Christians, to share the word of God and to make disciples and to be fishers of men, because we really just have to rise up as a nation. We have to turn to God, and we have to call to him for help, and we have to seek him. And so the more of us and the more Christians that we make, that we bring back to Christ, then the more we can get on focus on God's plan. And that's the only way that we'll be able to thrive as a nation. It's focusing on God.
So how do we do that? I mean, I can't, this one, I'm pretty confident of the causation relationship between feminism and female unhappiness. I'm less confident of this one, but religiosity has declined since the 19th Amendment.
Yeah.
That might be a stretch.
I think the best,
so how do we get back to it? How do we get back to
the religious
country?
How we get back to it is we stand against this hippie Christianity, and we stand against all of this, like this modernized version of Christianity that's just meant to make Jesus into some hippie, and that makes the Bible conform to current societal standards. And we need to be able to just really dive into the Bibles and look at it and say, hey, this is the way things work. We try to conform the Bible to our ways, and things all go to trash, and you've got pride parades and people cutting off genitals and things like that. So let's focus on God's order, and then on us as believers, we need to just be sharing the truth. We need to be calling out sin, and we need to be calling people to repent. And if we share the word of God, faith comes by hearing the word. So as people hear it, then the Holy Spirit will take over from there. And we have to do our part with sharing.
Okay, well, I agree with that so much in theory, but I see a political problem here, which is that seems to assume this libertarian view that the politics is entirely downstream of culture. And so you just got to, change hearts and minds, and that's how you change the political order. But I think there's also an ancient and even Christian understanding that the law is a teacher.
My plan is better than anything they've said in this whole debate. My plan is you give women a choice. You want to be able to vote, you're going in the draft. If you don't want to be able to vote, go find your husband and you don't need to. That would eliminate 90% of the people, of the, uneducated voters who are just following whatever they learn on TV to go vote for. That would eliminate all of them, and we would have equality, even though it's not really fair because men still don't get a choice and women do. But it's the closest thing we can get. If you can't have them not fighting the wars that they're voting for, that's the key takeaway here.
St. Paul tells us that too. And so the political order itself will change people's mind, will to some degree cultivate habits of virtue. And we live in this very degenerate culture now that promotes all sorts of weird sex stuff and killing babies and opening borders and not enforcing the law and all. So don't you need a shock to the political system? Don't you need a serious reform that might begin to change those hearts and minds? And in our current system, how are we supposed to get that?
Yeah, I think we need that too. I don't think anybody has any business being in office if they're not a Christian. And I think that we do need to have more laws that are Christian laws. Like we need to put a stop to the gay marriage. We need to put a stop to a lot of this stuff, the abortion and all of these things. And I think these things need to be implemented. Like it's on us as Christians to bring other people to Christ. But then also just as a nation, we're not going to thrive if we are catering to degeneracy. So as a nation, I believe that we need to have.
I wonder if she would include that with Christian Zionists. I wonder if she would add that they need to be voting. Why do they need to be voting? They have dual loyalties. You should only be able to vote if you're only for America. If you have a loyalty to another nation, then you should give up your right to vote to go have that. You can have dual citizenship, but you don't get to vote no more, and you can't run for public office. That's only fair.
Have Christian laws as well.
Leftist Blondie?
If you want to have a backup plan, you don't get to pretend like you don't.
Would you go along with that plan? Women get to keep the vote, even the liberal single women, so long as there's a religious test that only Christians can serve in government?
No, I'm not a fascist.
Fascist? That's not fascist. Not everything is fascist. I agree the religious test is going to be hard.
Women think everything is fascist and everyone is a narcissist. That's the only two words they know, and everybody fits into one of those two categories for them.
But you wouldn't go along with that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you feel the same way about Islam, then if Muslims are coming in the troves that they're coming in, then they should be able to make the same parity argument to you.
No, because we're a Christian nation.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, or we can just keep them from coming in. Like if they have views that are contrary to how we live, don't let them in. Why are you going to let someone in who wants to have Sharia law or whatever? Like if you want that, then go to a country that has that.
We were founded as a
No,
Christian nation.
they're going to make the same
nation.
argument, but from Islam. I think it's quite ironic saying like liberals are painting Jesus out to be this hippy dippy woo woo whatever thing, and you're sitting here like covered in tattoos and like a cross necklace and colorful hair. I just want to point that out. It's not very traditionally Christian.
What's your point? What's your point?
And so
what
just
point
the
is that
irony
supposed
is not
to
lost
make?
on me.
Where's the irony? Can you explain?
That would work too.
Wait, I
Well,
want
the
to know.
irony is calling.
Can you explain the problem
calling
with my
Jesus
colored
like-
Yeah, they
hair?
use that too.
Leftist
Can you
Blondie?
explain how
What's the
actually
problem with the
having
tax
red
and the
hair
colored
makes me not
hair?
Christian? Can you explain?
No, I
Narcissist is the big one though. I haven't dated a woman who can't tell me about all the narcissists she's dated every time we meet. That's the one thing they want to do is just go down the checklist and tell me every narcissist and all the bad shit he's done to them.
I think tattoos are great. I think tattoos
And just forget the fact that she chose that narcissist. So what's that say about her?
are great. I think
Okay,
they
like
look
how
nice.
does that
I
make
think
me not a
colored hair
Christian?
looks nice.
Where's the
But
irony?
traditionally, people like Michael Knowles on his team would call you a heretic for dressing like that and then calling yourself a Christian.
I would never call her a heretic for dressing like that. We'll have to get into our discussions
He's
of just
had
Call her a bit of a hoe, but not that.
me on the show multiple
sanctification.
times, so
Yeah. I love Melanie's
I was
style.
more interested in
I
the
think you're.
than the way she looks.
Yeah, so hold on. We've now degraded the political order to such a degree that only appearances matter. We're not even discussing what goes
yeah.
beneath the
It's just
skin. Look, ladies, you've radicalized
No,
me.
it's just funny.
A final word, Priya.
No, I mean, I liked your point, Michael. I think we need to reorder society in a way that we, yes, put God at the forefront, but also so that we take out this hyper individualism that we have just infested in every aspect of our society today.
Well, look, I've been radicalized by all of you, and it's a real white pill that these young, vibrant women are thinking in this way. That's more right wing than like the fattest, baldest conservative of 1995. And I feel great, and I would very happily and tactically give 3 of the 4 women on this panel 20 or 30 votes each, 20 or 30,000 votes each in every election, actually. But I won't say which is which. Ladies, wonderful to see all of you. I look forward to seeing you all again.
Okay. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, even though I don't like Michael Knowles all that much. But that's more to do with where he works at. I want to thank my chatters today. Y'all made this show much more enjoyable for me. I love it whenever y'all are commenting and keeping the show moving. I know I can get to be a little bit like dry whenever it's just me. So I appreciate you guys. I do have to go prep for a debate. So look for that debate. It should be coming out next week. You're supposed to debate Sunday. Doing a walkthrough Saturday. I'm going to be debating Matt Van from the Matt Van Show. He's a good guy. I kind of went off on him on my video about him because I thought he was ducking me, but he's willing to come debate still, even though I said some really awful things about him. So we're going to try and do a friendly debate. We've spoken a few times, and he seems like an okay guy. He has some views that I need to get into. So we're going to take care of that Sunday. Look for it next week. And my co-host has woken up and decided to join the show. So he's going to take us out of here today. Ozzy, tell them all bye. Peace. I will see y'all Monday, 11 Central Time.